Today on the Hangout, we got to talk about the disarray going out in Sacramento. Will Boogie Cousins last? The Toronto Raptors head to the draft board and take home 2 point guards. And we got to recap who got drafted. D'Angelo, you're a Laker. Okafor, you're disappointed. And Towns, you're number one. Hangout! Basketball fans, the basketball addicts are back at it with a very, very special draft recap episode of The Hangout. I am Jahlil Augustine, and this is our panel. These are our favorites, the guys that we rely on when it's time to talk NBA basketball. You know that guy on the edge from being the partner to Dwayne Watson on one-on-one radio on TSN. But here's the caveat for Will Strickland today. He's actually sitting beside his co-host for this weekend's episode, Daniel Orick. I just learned your middle name from this man, because he's the middle name king, but you guys will be doing a show together.
Yep, on Saturday, TSN 1050. Looking forward to it.
Dwayne's disappointed in you guys, man. You just bumped him out the show. Jeez, no love. And then this guy here, Vidal Messiah, ex-professional basketball player, currently one of the top leading basketball development guys. You've got the Hoop Factory. What's going on for the Hoop Factory this summer?
Next week, man, Monday we kick off a private camp for King Nation basketball. A week after that, it's our 11th summer to the public. 6 weeks of development and training, work with tons of kids through King Nation that have gone on to get scholarships. 10 this year, matter of fact. So come out, learn from the best. And get on that pathway.
All right, enough plugging your products.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
All right, let's talk about plugging players since you're a talent evaluator.
Yep.
All right, not even a few months ago, a month ago, it was universally known that Jahlil Okafor was the number one pick. I mean, we were talking about this guy since he was in high school in Chicago. He's been earmarked to be a success in this league. Are you surprised that he was not the number one pick and that he slid as far as he did in this league where a throw the ball in the post, go get me a bucket big man is oh so rare? Vidal, we'll start with you.
I think that's the thing. I mean, the modern day post players are pick and pop, a stretch 4, a stretch 5.
Not even post players.
There's not really post players on the All-Star ballot. So, I mean, going with the typical post player sounds good because I think now it's intriguing because you don't have any. But is that where the game's going?
But are we not surprised that everyone kind of was sold on him and his pedigree?
Yeah, that was a month ago. And then you start to evaluate and look at the league as it is today. Yeah. You still need a guy to go in the post. That's why LeBron won the post 2,000 times in the finals.
Yep.
You still need a guy who can draw a double team and kick out the open shooter.
But do you need a center to do that? I mean, you can find guys that can play weak side basketball, finish off other players, and have other players like a LeBron
you have to
who can go to
talent.
the post. Do you need the center?
Though.
I think what you guys are bringing up are points about on-the-court basketball, and I can't disagree with anything that you're saying. You guys know the game, and you know what is being looked for. But there were some questions in the past week or two about Okafor and his commitment to the game, his drive, his motivation, and that kind of affected his stock a little bit. I spoke to both of them, and Towns has a way of speaking. He's very thoughtful. He's exuberant, he's eloquent in how he spoke. And Okafor, I can see him going in for what amounts to a job interview.
Disinterested.
Very disinterested. And it was Jay Williams on ESPN who went to Duke, and you would assume has some connections there, who raised some questions about Okafor's motivation. I think it hurt him.
You know what that is, though? That's an entitlement. When you know you've been that good since the 8th grade, you feel like I should be number one because I've been number one since forever.
Yep.
And so his desire and his drive, I can't be mad at his people. He's already doing deodorant commercials. So he's getting that money. But I think he's going to top out before Karl Towns will.
Okay,
and that's part of the problem.
We'll get to Karl Towns in a second because originally we thought it was, Okafor Towns for number one, and then the other guy who doesn't get drafted goes number two.
Yeah.
Then Jalen Rose shocks the world and tells everyone that the Lakers have to pick D'Angelo Russell. I'm sitting there with sweets like, that's nonsense. And then 30 seconds later, Adam Silver walks up to the podium and announces that the Los Angeles Lakers select D'Angelo Russell. Was everyone as shocked as me by this pick? We'll start with you, Will.
Not at all.
No, you thought.
Not at all.
Oh, wait, time out. So you're telling me before this draft, on your mock draft board, because I'm going to TSN.ca in a second, you had D'Angelo going second.
No, I did not, but he was one of the top 3-4 players in this draft. So you can swap those guys out pretty much the top 4.
Really? Do you feel that way?
Except for Moutier. So I say the top 3 guys, you can swap them out either way. You look at the fact that Ricky Rubio hasn't played a full season in how long?
Yes.
So you want to find new players, new talent? He could have been number one. He could have been. Number two, I'm not mad at that because they don't know that Russell Westbrook will come there. They don't know that Kevin Love will come there. They don't know that Aldridge will come there.
You guys letting him run away with this. Is
no, but it's
everyone
the
else
truth,
on
though.
the
Think
roster?
about it.
I mean,
So
I'm not
by
surprised.
that.
You know that. I've thought him and Porzingis were the two best players in the draft.
Really? How long did you
the
think
two best?
Porzingis-
Well, since you showed them to me.
Porzingis.
It was you. But those were the two best basketball players in this draft. In terms of pass, shoot, dribble, IQ, skill set. I'm not surprised at all.
I have an issue with you. Do you even look at my Twitter feed? Yesterday afternoon at about 2:30, I tweeted Towns is number 1 and Russell's number 2. Russell is the heir apparent in Los Angeles, for better or worse.
Yeah, Kobe's new guy.
I'm not saying he's going to have that kind of a
You're
career,
saying he's
but
the next
to
guy.
them,
Yeah,
he's the next guy coming in with that star power, which you need, and he's going to be a great basketball player too. Okafor was never going to be that kind of star. He's almost like the Kareem type who kind of.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Talking personality,
That's a rabbit
not
hole right
game.
there. With him on this couch, that's a rabbit hole. We don't have time to do that.
No,
don't
real
do
quick,
that, Dad.
real quick.
No.
though.
Okay, fine.
You know, because seriously, when he says that about Okafor, I smell Carlos Boozer.
Oh, that was
And if you
actually one
have-
of Jalen's comparisons.
And if you have,
Not bad. That's
if
not
you
bad
have
at all.
2 or more Duke players on your team, you'll never win anything. That is my corollary.
Okay, hold on,
I
wait.
agree with that.
All right, let's talk about having 2 or more of something on your team. The Minnesota Timberwolves now have 3 straight number 1 overall draft picks on their team, and they also made a trade with the Cavs last night to get Tyus Jones in their backcourt. So my question to you is, are the Timberwolves finally finished with the lottery? Dan,
Yes, they're finished with the lottery.
you think that this collection of young players...
wait, no. Let me revise. They're not making
I'm
the
going to check
playoff-
your Twitter feed after this.
I'm going to tweet this right after the show. I'm not going to say they're going to make the playoffs in 15-16, but they are building a foundation. They are on their way. They've made some great moves. Look, they're shopping Anthony Bennett. I don't know if anybody wants him, and really, you can't even classify him as a number 1 pick, but they are moving in the right direction. Is there another lottery pick to answer your question? Yeah, probably next year.
Okay, you forfeited your time on this question
all
because
good.
of the last one.
All
so we
good.
had to jump to the next one, which is
manager.
honestly, I think you're gonna want to talk about this, being who you are. New York City. Gotham. Here we go, baby. The boos were real as the New York Knicks and Philip Jackson. What's Phil Jackson's middle name?
Thomas, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow. Philip Thomas
Why
Jackson.
do you know this stuff?
I don't know.
It's a guess.
What-
Somebody
hey,
check that out.
What is Kristaps Porzingis' middle name?
Kristaps.
Get out of here. Okay, we got him on one. Kristaps
if they even have
Porzingis
him
goes to the New York Knicks. Knicks fans are upset. I myself think this is kind of a good selection because I really like the upside of Porzingis. Before Vi goes in on Porzingis, I'll let Will take it away.
Well, New York fans, if you check my Twitter feed, they've been sending me selfies of a package of Wendy's shooting his brain out because somebody stepped on it. And Danny Aiello from Do the Right Thing.
Oh, yep, Sal's Pizzeria.
Wow, it's crazy. But, you know, a lot of people are disappointed because they thought one of those top 4 guys are going to get picked. Porzingis moved up in the draft a lot because of people talking about him. I've always called the European guys unicorns because you have a better chance of seeing the unicorn than seeing these guys really do something on the court.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Wow.
Or Darko. And that's the thing you have to deal with.
Dirk
And that's
Darko.
part of the reason why the New York fans are upset right now.
Okay, now Vi wants to flex his intellectual muscle and tell you about
I mean, I get,
Kristaps.
I get the boos. I mean, in the past, 4, 5, 6 years, maybe
15 years,
15
really.
Yeah.
years, international players have not panned out all that.
Three
well.
all-stars out of
Three
the
All-Stars.
last 15 years.
Yeah. But this kid's different, man. I mean, this kid, had he been playing in college basketball, I think would be averaging 20 points, be a household name. He's in Europe, again. He's in the top league in Europe. He's in the Euro League, he's in the ACB. He's averaging 12 points against men, against coaches who've been paid to strategize to stop this kid. This kid's not one of those Europeans playing in a small country town like in Wolfsburg, Dirk Nowitzki from Germany. This guy's playing on a level at 19 years old, right?
Yep.
I think with his skill set, his athleticism, unlike most European players, he can play off the ball, play weak side, and just catch and dunk.
All right.
He's got a
Quickly,
crazy
we've
ceiling.
Make
heard
this
this.
last.
Bargnani, Valanciunas.
All right, that's it.
Different
I don't even want to hear those names. Stop it.
Completely
Stop it.
different athletes,
Listen.
man. Come on.
And
We
his
still
cancer.
have
Different
more
athletes.
to talk about here on the Hangout. The Raptors were active on draft day. Not only did they get 2 point guards, but they made a move that might upset some fans. Your boy, Gravis Vasquez, the best soundbite in the game, out of Toronto, heading to the Bucks. We'll be back. Hangout!